What's up guys, Twice here with another analysis video. This one though is actually going to be for what's coming out in the Japanese meta. Of course it's going to be Neon Messiah. First movie booster for Vanguard. That's super exciting, as of course now that we have a movie it just makes the game itself a little more legit. And actually there's some really interesting stuff that's coming out now. Of course there's two blank spots, but we have the Legion rares already for these two. Of course that's going to be Alfred and Blaster Joker, who's freaking amazing. So today I'm just going to look at the triple rares and kind of just see what's coming out in the set, as well as give you guys a couple updates on what exactly is going to be going on in the next few weeks. So, excuse me. Let's start with Bluish Flames Liberator Prominence Glare. So we had Prominence Core in set 17, and this guy, maybe he's a different form. First of all, I haven't read his lore yet. So he's 20,000 with Liberator of Destiny Aglavale. I'll look at him in just a second. Legion Seal is counterblast 1. Choose a card with Bluish Flame and its card name from your hand and discard it. I know that Aglavale is supposed to help you get like a Bluish Flame in your hand. When your unit is placed in the rearguard circle from your deck, if he's in Legion, pay the cost. If you do, until the end of the turn, he gets a crit. And during the battle that he attacks, your opponent cannot call grade 1 or greater units to the Guardian Circle from his or her hand. Now they can still intercept. However, this means, of course, no perfect guards. So basically, when something's superior called from the deck, if you have a Bluish Flame card in your hand, counterblast 1, discard that, and then he gets a crit, and then he gets the Glory Maelstrom Skull. So a little complicated, but of course that Bluish Flame thing is not hard to get. You could have Percival, you could run Prominence Core, you could have a copy of him in your hand. So just as long as he has Bluish Flame in his name. So that's a pretty easy skill to get off. And the secondary skill is counterblast 1, choose one of your rear guards, and retire it. Look at up to 4 cards at the top of your deck. Search for one card with the Liberator and its card name, call to the rear guard, put the rest in your bottom of your deck in any order, and then you can use that ability for the rest of the turn. So of course that's just supposed to help you get off the Legion ability. So not too bad, pretty cost efficient, and let's take a look at Aglavale and just see what he does. Because I guess he's supposed to be now like a better form of his old self. So he has the Big Bang Knuckle, Big Bang Slash Buster, that's it. When you have a Bluish Flame he gets a +2. Then Soul Blast 1, when he's placed in the rearguard circle from the deck, make pay the cost, check top 5. Search up the Bluish Flame card in its name, reveal it to your opponent, put it in your hand, and shuffle your deck. Alright, so he's just supposed to be a utility for, what's-his-face, Prominence Glare. So not too bad. And, yeah, a couple good stuff coming up. Then let's move on to one of my favorite things. This is my favorite thing that's coming out in this set, even though I don't play Gyro. Perdition Imperial Dragon Dragonic Overlord the Great. That name in itself just says it all. He's a Perdition Dragon, first of all, and he's Dragonic Overlord. So, of course, he's going to have a restanding ability. Perdition Dragon, Dragonic Neo Flame. I'll take a look at him in a second. Counterblast 1, choose 2 cards from your hand and discard them at the end of the battle that he attacked a rear guard. If he's in Legion, pay the cost. If you do, stand your entire Vanguard. That's really good. I don't understand what the parentheses are for. The ruling itself seems pretty straightforward. But that's really good, of course, because that means that you're going to pretty much always get off 2 Vanguard attacks. And, you're not going to net yourself anything because you're discarding 2 cards from hand. And, if he gets any triggers, then he keeps all of those trigger abilities or any other power-ups that he gets. Secondary skills, choose one of your rear guards with the same name as a unit on your Vanguard circle and retire it. When his attack hits, pay the cost, and retire any one of your opponent's rear guards. Which is nice, because oftentimes Perdition Dragons have a hard time killing the Vanguard booster, which can be pretty key, especially if you're facing something like Sin Buster, which really needs a Vanguard booster to get off his skill. But let me check out Neo Flame. Alright, he looks really interesting. It looks like a Red Rayquaza for all you Pokemon fans out there, which should be everyone. When this unit is placed in the rearguard circle until the end of the turn, he gets auto, counterblast 1 when your opponent's rearguard in the same column as this unit is put into the drop zone, and pay the cost. You do choose one of your opponent's rearguards, same column as him, and retire it. Oh, not bad. So you can basically clear a column. He helps clear a column. Still pretty counterblast heavy, though. I'd be interested to see how people kind of mitigate that, because while it might be counterblast 1, the consistent use of those abilities is going to be heavy after a while. Now let's take a look at the deleter, because I haven't gotten a chance to really look at all of the deleters yet. I actually just came out with this artwork. Wow, he looks freaking great. I love how the deleters are like distinctly different from the Star Vaders. Alright, so 20,000 with juxtaposed deleter for Will. So counterblast 2, choose a card from your hand and discard it when this unit performs Legion, pay the cost, and then you delete the opponent's Vanguard. Okay, delete. New mechanics. So the deleted card is turned face down, its power is 0, and it loses its text, and then it turns face up at the end of the opponent's turn. Now that means that it's still part of a clan and it still has twin drive. So even though your Vanguard has no power and no skill, it still like can attack and has twin drive, and it's still there, it's just deleted, quote unquote. And then he gets 2k when he attacks Vanguard. So not too bad. Let me take a look at his Legion mate. So the skill itself actually has a pretty good cost. Like it's not, way too easy to get up. Wow, look at that thing. It looks so alien. When this unit is placed in the rearguard circle, your opponent's Vanguard is deleted. Choose one of your opponent's rearguards in the front row and lock it. Wow, that's really nice. So they're using both the lock and the delete mechanic at the same time. I'm pretty sure the Star Vaders are more focused on locking than these guys are. And let's go on to Star Vader Venom Dancer, who I think Raul Serra just used in the anime, if you've been following it. And he looks, that's a really interesting design. Anyway, so 20,000 with Sword Viper. Counter lost 1 at the end of the battle that he attacked a Vanguard. If he's in Legion, pay the cost. If you do, choose up to one of your opponent's rearguards, for each of your opponent's locked cards and stand it. Which is really cool because that means that as Star Vaders get better and better at keeping things locked, you'll be able to more consistently be able to restand your own rearguards, which I really like. Often it's kind of weird. Link Joker has never been a stand-based kind of clan, and this is kind of a different flavor of that. So counterblast 1 card with Star Vader, its card name for a second skill. If you have another unit in the center column, so if he's in Legion or if you have a booster, choose one of your opponent's rearguards in the back row and lock it. So not too bad, just to help you be able to restand something. I kind of like it. It's pretty balanced, actually. Let me take a look at Sword Viper before we go on to the next one. Again, all of their artwork, of course, looks amazing because this is Vanguard. Once the unit attacks, hits a Vanguard, if your Vanguard is in Legion, your opponent has a locked card, choose one of your opponent's rearguards and lock it. Pretty nice. Actually, he would be good to put in really any deck because he's such a good pressure card. And look at that sword. Oh, that looks really cool. So yeah, actually some pretty good stuff for Star Vaders, at least, that are coming out. I like the fact that Link Joker now has 2 archetypes to choose from. Alright, what should I take a look at now? Yeah, let's just go down to the Legion rares. So, Light Origin Seeker, Alfred the 14th. Now, I know that a lot of people have been asking, like, oh, why is it Alfred the 14th? Well, I read both his trivia, and I was reading up on the Knights of the Round Table the other day for my history class. And there were, what am I saying? There were 13 knights, right? And while the knights themselves, I don't think there is a consensus as to how many or what the names of the knights were, because there have been a bunch of different knights. But there were 13 knights in the Round Table, and Alfred, who was based off of King Arthur, was the 14th member because Arthur was the king, and so that would make sense. But very interesting in this card because he has 2 Legion mates, both regular Blaster Blade and Blaster Blade Seeker. Kind of nice that they brought regular Blaster Blade back, which is cool because then you can Legion in a couple different ways, and just makes it a little bit more interesting. So Legion skill, he is during your turn. If he is in Legion, he gets 1,000 power for each other unit you have with Seeker in its card name. That includes the Legion mate. And then if the number of rearguards you have is 5 or more, he gets +1 crit. So, like a throwback to the old Alfred, power based on number of rearguards, stuff like that. I like the fact that he does get the passive crit, though. That's really nice. Yeah, he's just like a basic Alfred, power for however many rearguards you have. And then his secondary skill, counterblast 2 Seeker cards. Search your deck for 1 card with Seeker in its card name, call to rearguard, and shuffle your deck. Just help you fill your field. Pretty cost efficient, actually. And I love his artwork. He looks so good. And Blaster Blade Seeker also gets new artwork, which is awesome. I think there have been, 3 Blaster Blade Seekers now? All with different artwork? It's freaking awesome. But now we come to Star Vader Blaster Joker, who looks really demonic. Look at those eyes, and then, wow. Anyway, so with Companion Star Vader Photon, who is, of course, like Corrin's card, makes sense since this is iCheese now. And, yeah. So counterblast 2 and Soul Blast 2, and choose one of your rearguards with Star Vader in its card name and lock it. So kind of a throwback to reverse. If this unit is in Legion, lock all of your opponent's rearguards. It says all, so not like 5 specifically. So however many they have, you lock all of them. Choose one of your opponent's Legion mate and retire it. So I watched a video about this, I can't remember by whom, that said that this card is actually not that broken, and for good reason. So even though, yes, all your rearguards are locked, if you have less than 5 rearguards, well, any open rearguard spaces that you have, you can still use. And as long as you don't let anything that Omega locks rearguards hit, well then those units are going to be unlocked at the end of your turn anyway, so like a regular Link Joker deck. And this is a pretty heavy cost. They have to lock one of their Star Vader rearguards, so this deck has to be used exclusively in a Star Vader deck, which I guess is not all that hard. And Link Joker still doesn't have anything to unflip damage, unless you count the damage on flipper for Glendios, but of course you're not going to use that in this deck. So you're not really going to get to be able to use this card's ability all that much, which makes sense. Now, retiring the Legion Mate, that may seem pretty bad, but your opponent is putting it in the drop zone. If you're able to fill the drop zone with 3 more cards, you could just re-Legion and then take that Legion Mate that got put into the drop zone and put it back on the Vanguard circle. It's, not really that big of a deal. So it's good, definitely. It's definitely good, but it's not as broken as I feel that some people may have said it is. I like his secondary skill though. Choose one card with the same name as a unit on your Vanguard circle from your hand and put it into your soul. When he attacks, you may pay the cost. If you do, he gets +1 crit. Really nice, just extra little bit of pressure to go along with his locking skill. So very interesting. I knew that they were going to come up with a Legion breaking card when the mechanic was first introduced because it just kind of made sense. His lore though is pretty interesting. You should read it sometime. Anyway, so some really interesting cards coming out in this set. I'm really interested to see what this Grade 4 is going to be, but they're probably not going to reveal that until the actual movie comes out. And of course, we've got some other, support for Star Vaders and Deleters and Perdition Dragons and Seekers and stuff like that coming out. But I'm not going to take a look at that because, one, it would take too much time, and frankly, that stuff isn't really as important as the triple rares themselves. But still, some really good stuff coming out. As far as updates are concerned, don't have too many right now. Of course, Set 15 is coming out now in English, and I think the sneak preview is tomorrow, so I may be able to go to that. If not, then I'll still put up a channel updates in Set 15, as we usually do. I know that Odd is looking to, at some point, maybe update his Bermuda Triangle, so maybe I'll be able to get that deck up for you guys. But the next actual deck profile you're going to see is definitely my Venus Luquier, because one, it's the one that I want to put up first of Set 15, and second, I'm really looking forward to finishing that deck. So thank you guys for watching. Remember to always have a great day, keep card fighting. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.